wedding planning is hard, okay? The guest list, the table settings, the bridesmaids, the drama, the Jewish mothers. Is she watching? I hope not. That's where Jen Glantz comes into the picture, and as a bridesmaid, you can hire her to stand up on the altar with you. Before we talk to her, let's take a little look at her story.
When I was in my 20s, all of my friends got married and I was always a bridesmaid. I became everyone's go-to bridesmaid because I was always on time, didn't bring the drama, and was really good at listening to people, especially in a really challenging situation, which oftentimes weddings are. I thought if I could do this for them, perhaps I can do this for strangers. I posted an ad, I got hundreds of responses. One of them was from a bride named Ashley in Minnesota who had fired her maid of honor because the maid of honor was causing too much drama and she wanted to hire me. I showed up in Minnesota, walked down the aisle as her bridesmaid, and it was my first time as a hired bridesmaid for strangers. A lot of my clients hire me because they are super stressed out. I help you manage the people. I'm there to put up with mother of the groom drama. I'm there to help out if your bridesmaids are causing problems. And I'm there to help you out if you have secrets or conversations that you want unbiased advice but have nobody else to talk to. I've also been hired as a maid of honor, which means I give speeches. I also walk down the aisle and I'm in all of the pictures. I've been a bridesmaid for hire for over a decade, and I have been to over 100 weddings as a hired bridesmaid for strangers.
Here to talk all about working as a bridesmaid for hire, please welcome to the show, Jen Glantz.
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Hey.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so I find this fascinating. How many different bridesmaids dresses have you worn now, and do you keep them all?
I have worn over 100 bridesmaid dresses. I have some sitting here on my lap. I keep the ones that are cute or have a special meaning, and I donate the rest.
Oh, that's nice.
So here's a real question. You know, when you're at a wedding, you're forced to make conversations with people. What do you tell the other guests that are actually friends or family? How do you, like, if they're like, how do you know the bride? What is your answer?
When a person hires me for their wedding, we create a backstory of how we know each other. So even before the wedding happens, I'll have a fake name and a story that blends into their life so nobody knows that I'm hired.
So you're like the only person there doing Tony and Tina's wedding and no one else knows it.
Exactly, with the dance moves and everything,
There
yes.
you go. All
It's
right.
like Truman Show, but she's the one.
I am fascinated by this. First, I would just make up a backstory. I would agree with the bride, and then I just make it up when I got there. We're actually spies. So I have to ask you, this is such a crazy thing. What's the most over-the-top wedding that you've ever been a bridesmaid at?
I have done weddings all over the country. I've done Vegas weddings. I've done $500,000 weddings in Beverly Hills and places in Florida. I've also done some weddings that didn't end up happening. I've done weddings where the bride had cold feet and called it off. So I've done a wide range of different types of weddings in my lifetime.
That's crazy. Okay, what's the craziest thing that's happened to you as a hired bridesmaid? And also, side note, do you have to know all the dances, like the religious dances?
Oh yeah, I have to know all of the dances. I have to also know how to make sure that I'm the life of the party if the party is dull. But one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me was 5 minutes before a wedding happened, the bride pulled me aside and said, I don't like the groom and I don't want to do this. That was a really crazy moment.
What did you do? You give it? What do you say? What do you do?
You know, it doesn't matter to me if they go through with it or not. I already get paid and I'm hired to support the bride.
That's what she tells them.
I don't care.
In that case, I had the couple chat and they decided to go through with the wedding but not legally sign the marriage license.
Oh, good compromise.
Wow. Okay. So
Did you still act happy for them? Even though,
That's amazing.
Oh man, so as an expert wedding guest, what is your #1 piece of advice for people attending a wedding?
When you're attending a wedding, try not to make a wedding about you. If things go wrong, the food's cold or something's happening, try not to make a big scene about it. The people who are getting married, they have put so much into their celebration. Bring joy, bring love, and add to their happiness.
Wow.
All right, Jen, I got to ask you, I hope this doesn't hurt your business. What's the drunkest you've been at one of these things?
You know, it's actually interesting. I am completely sober at these weddings because it's my full-time job. So just like I would in a corporate environment, I bring that same thing to weddings and I do not drink at all. I am so good at fake drinking though. I will fake take shots all night long.
I was going to say, if you were at a wedding that I went to, I would sniff you out in a second. Like, that girl's not drinking over there. She's a spy,
cool.
like Al said.
Yeah. Who is that? Do you ever compete at a wedding with another fake hired bridesmaid?
Well, I'm usually the one that brings multiple bridesmaids with me. So sometimes the bride will hire me and 3 other people. So I bring them for my team.
She's got a team.
This is amazing.
I've never heard of this. What?
Bridesmaid to order?
Wait a minute. Okay, wait. Who is paying for, like, is the dress all a part of your package, all of that? So you don't pay for any of these dresses, like none of the accessories, all that stuff?
You're right. I don't pay for anything. They pay for me to be at the wedding, the bachelorette party, the bridal shower. They also pay for travel accommodations, the dress, the shoes, everything.
I have one quick. I have to ask this, Erica.
Smart
we are fascinated by this. Do you have like a vacation package? Do you have like extra amenities that they can charge? Like if you want a really emotional, over the top speech, is that like an extra $50? Like how do you
if you cry,
charge? Yeah.
Right.
It's really hard to charge for this type of work because you actually are becoming the person's friend. So a lot of what I do is charge for hourly sessions before the wedding when we can talk, vent sessions for the bride. But it is really hard to charge. And I don't charge for anything extra, like extra emotions or helping break up fights. Those are all part of the package.
Do you form relationships with any of these people at the end? You'd think it'd bring you guys close, right?
Oftentimes I do stay friends with some clients. I'm still friends with the first person who hired me, Ashley from Minnesota, but there's a lot of people over the years that we've just mutually chosen not to be friends, or I just felt like it was better off if we never talked to each other again.
Wow!
I want to interview the people that hire you tomorrow.
Right.
Being like, what's happening? All right, that's good.
Interesting. Go ahead. Yeah.
People hire me for all different reasons. You know, it's very common not to have a best friend, but it's also common to have bridesmaids who just don't know what to do, and you want a professional to step in and help them out.
I love that.
Interesting. Very smart. Innovative.
Great idea.
You know? Good, interested. Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. DBL Nation. To learn more about Jen and what other wedding services she offers, visit her website at bridesmaidforhire.com. It tells you what it is.
I'm going
right
on
there.
after the show.
Are
I just
you?
want to I want to see what's happening.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Jen. We'll be right back. Mazel, in many ways.
Yeah, it's a big day. You don't want to mess it up. Yeah, have a professional. I would have never thought about that.
Very smart.